Hi there, dudes. Sorry, a couple of minutes late, but it wouldn't be me without being a little bit late, would it? So, hi, and welcome to this motivation for exams. And why should you care? Why should you take that final push now? And the answer is because you want this, because you actually want to do really, really well. You've been working incredibly hard on this and you want it. So, why did I make this video? Well, I was actually just listening to some other YouTubers, some other EduTubers, talking about some quite worrying things, actually. They're talking about kids at this point during this half term actually feeling like this was the time when they were going to give up, and I was like, whoa, this is really surprising to me. I was not expecting anybody to be like giving up at this point. So don't let that be you. Don't let that be one of the don't let you be one of the crowd that is thinking, whatever, GCSEs, A levels, it's not as big a deal as I thought it was. It was actually Mr. Salah's English who actually said, look, this is a really great opportunity. And I was a bit surprised that he was talking about kids giving up in this half term during the exam season. And I was a bit, well, that doesn't sound like any kids I know. It doesn't sound like the kids on my channel who spend a lot of time here working with me, listening to what I've got to say and watching my videos, right? So this is definitely the time when you shouldn't be thinking about giving up, right? So that statement really kind of worried me, right? And he's a really experienced teacher, and he says, I see this year in, year out. I see the numbers go down on my channel. We get massive numbers on the way into exams, and then after this half term, we start to see fewer and fewer people actually engaging with our YouTube videos. Now, that's not something I necessarily see, but he's been doing this and he's got a much bigger audience than me, and he's one of the SLT in his school and everything like that. So he's a person to listen to. But he said, like, this is an opportunity. So don't be part of that bunch maybe that are thinking now, oh, can I really be bothered? Is this such a bigger deal? Be one of the kids that actually thinks, no, this week, this half term is actually the opportunity to really work incredibly hard and get our head around some of the content that's coming up in the second half of the exam season. So that's what you're going to think about now. It's only half time. This is the time to have those oranges and really think again. You can definitely done this, right? Yeah, okay. So there were also comments that I'm reading on my own channel that are like, wow, I'm struggling to get motivated. So I thought, well, I better just do this kind of quick motivation video, why you should care, right? Well, the reason is because you want this, okay? That is my main kind of take home message. You actually want to do really, really well in these exams. You've been working hard on them for years. And you don't want this because somebody's telling you that you want it. You don't want this because somebody else says it's important. You want this because you definitely want this yourself. You want this because you want to feel proud of those results that you get. You want to be part of science. So you're studying sciences, either GCSE or A level, because you want to be part of the scientific community. You want to maybe go on to A levels, or you want to go on to university and study sciences, or you want to be able to prove that you can do something really, really hard. You can get good grades in GCSE or A level sciences. And you want this because you don't want to look back and think, yeah, the reason I didn't do very well was because I kind of gave up during my half term, right? So don't be that. Don't be those people. Don't be those people that Mr. Salas is talking about that kind of give up during these half terms, right? Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and flex that knowledge acquired over these 2 years. And if you're a part of my kind of channel, my community, then you are definitely working really, really hard, and you've been working hard on it for that long, right? So definitely keep going. Remember, this is my most said comment, is there's 2 grades. There are only 2 grades available to you. There's one that you're proud of and one that you are not. And the reason why you'd be proud of the grade is because you know you put your very best into it. And the reason why you would not be proud of that grade, those 2 grades that you could open in August, the reason why you might not be proud is because you know you didn't put your best in. So be in that first category. Make sure you can be absolutely proud of the grade when you open it, whatever that grade is. If that's a grade 3, if it's grade 4, 5, whatever is your very, very best grade, don't worry about it, right? Hi to you all. So I know it can feel like a bit of a holiday, but actually this is the opportunity to restock your knowledge, recharge your batteries, really think about what's coming after the half term. What exactly do you need to focus on now? You've got a lot more headspace, okay, because actually there's a lot of exams that you've done and they're finished with, and you don't need to worry about them anymore. There's a lot of kind of, you've forgotten all Romeo and Juliet now if you're a GCSE kid, right? And now you can get on and really focus on those tiny little areas that's going to make you an absolute success. So one thing that I would definitely suggest is that you look back over my the playlist or the videos that I did on the way into exams, which are all titled 4 things to a grade 9 or 4 things to an A star, and actually work through those. So if you're GCSE, there are 4 things to grade 9 videos. If it's A level, there are 4 things to an A star. And basically it's these 4 things, right? Okay, so here's what you want to be doing right now. You want to be making sure you're covering everything. So go back and find a specification, use a checklist, cover everything. Then metacognition, okay, so only do what actually works for you. Always think about the learning that you're doing, the way that you're revising stuff, and make sure you are only revising in a way that is going to be beneficial to you. Look at the hardest questions. This is number 3. So find the hardest questions from each of your exams that are coming up. Just do the last few in each exam, maybe. Just do the hardest questions in the exams. And also, like talking, this is one of my favorite tips for checking whether you really understand something well enough, is say it out loud, explain it out loud, explain it to the wall, explain it to your camera. That's really useful because you can watch it back. And if you don't get something, then you'll be like, not sure. And that's why you can be absolutely sure that I get this, and I am absolutely, definitely sure that you should be motivated to go into the last little bits, because I am able to say all these things without hesitation, because I know they're right. I know you've only got maybe 2 weeks left of your exam period, and then it's bring on this massive summer. And in the middle of that summer, you want to go there and you want to know you're opening a grade that you can be absolutely proud of. All right, everybody, let's do this. Yeah, we've had a bit of a break. We've had our long weekend. It's Wednesday now, the half term. We've still got 4 or 5 days before those exams start back up again. And you want to be really, really proud. I'm going to have a look into the chat now. I've got a couple of other things coming up. I'll talk about what's coming the rest of this week. Okay, on Friday, I've definitely got Dr. Lemon's tip for paper 3. We were talking about A-level students. We were talking about doing the AQA and the OCR, all the core practicals, all the required practicals for AQA, all the PAGs for OCR, the same thing by a different name. I'm going to run through those. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to do that, but watch out for the scheduling. I'm going to do a live feed where I'm going to blitz through every single core practical in those. And for Edexcel, I'm still going to be looking at those 4 that we're kind of picking out as probably going to come up in the exam. I'm going to do those in a lot more detail. They might not, it could be any others, but they're really good explanations, really good how you should look at all the different PAGs, the kind of detailed knowledge that you need to know about these PAGs, these core practicals or whatever. And do definitely, even if you're not on one of those exam boards, watch the feeds, because then that will be useful kind of different methods for the same kind of area, the same apparatus and techniques, the same kind of topic, different methods to investigate the same thing. And that could be one of the questions they ask you that's like, oh, here's the same apparatus and techniques, but a different kind of method, right? So I'm going to have a look at the chat just now, just see if there's any kind of interesting questions here. Let's go right back. Okay, what up, everybody? Great to be here. Thank you very much, everybody. Parachutist pulls the cause, a massive change in momentum. Where does the force impact me, and why doesn't it hurt? That's a nice question. So yeah, there is a massive change in momentum, and it's very, very quick as well. So if you can imagine the velocity time graph for a parachutist, there is a massive deceleration. When you open the parachute, you get a really high surface area, and so you get a really high drag. So that's a really high Stokes force. Basically, R increases massively in the Stokes force equation. So you get a really high air resistance, really high drag force. So you get this massive rate of change of momentum. Now, why doesn't it hurt? Well, that, my dear, is something I do not know, because I have never jumped out of an aeroplane. I always wonder whether I really would do that. Where does that force impact me, and why doesn't it hurt? Well, you're wearing a harness, so the actual force eventually comes onto your body through the straps on the harness. So that's actually quite a large surface area. So it's quite lots of different places. So even though it'd be a high force, it'd be like a low pressure, would be my kind of first guess about that one there. I think that's a really good question, Rachel. Okay, I don't know, describe the straps on the harness. Are they large? Are they wide straps? Like imagine like a wide strap seatbelt. And there was a question like this actually, like why do straps on a child seat not need to be as thick as adult size straps? And the answer is because the deceleration on the adult and the child are the same, but the mass is smaller for the child, so the force is lower on the child. Therefore, the area doesn't need to be as large to have the same pressure, and the pressure is what's going to end up like cutting into a surface or anything like that. So I think that's your answer around there, maybe about the straps on the thing. That seems really interesting. Okay, really nice. Okay, good question. Rachel says hi. After asking a question, I like that though, Rachel. You've been thinking about a question. That's great. Flex that knowledge acquired over the last 2 years. I do have a paper 2 physics playlist. I am going to do live the night before AQA paper 2 and OCR paper 2. Well, they're both on the same day, but I'm going to do those 2 live streams and go through the same, it's basically the same way I did paper 1. I hope that was really, really useful. Any recommendations for a year 9 going to exams that set the sets for GCSE? Yeah, great question. Well, you're probably going to do the first kind of third of your syllabus. So I would really look out for some past paper questions on the YouTube channels, looking at those specific areas. I would also think just make sure that your skills are up to scratch, especially things like your math skills. So although you can feel like, oh, you learned all the knowledge, okay, they can ask you questions and ask you to do things that aren't just regurgitating knowledge. And so I would look through maybe the in your textbook or your revision guide, bits where it tells you all the maths you need to be able to do, because sometimes, although you've covered a lot of material, a lot of content, you haven't really had time to really ingrain a lot of the skills. So can you do things like rearranging equations, converting units, all of those like core skills, like can you use the times 10 to the button on your calculator? I'm just flexing on you with this is the class whiz, by the way, this is the FX991EX class whiz. Can you use the standard form button? Can you do all those things that you're going to need to do to answer the questions to solve the problems? Great. Get yourself in a good set. You won't want to be stuck in a bad set. You won't do well. Yeah, good advice, Andrew. Yeah, definitely. And if you do find yourself in that bad set, just show that you are not bad set. Hang on, that's not the right term. I'm just regurgitating that. If you find yourself in a low ability set, then what I would suggest you do is that you really show that you're working really, really hard to your teachers. You really talk about that with your teachers. Say, look, I want to go up a set. Look, what do I need to do to go up a set? What do I need to do to get onto the next grade? That type of questions, teachers really appreciate that, and they put a lot of time and effort when kids come to them and ask for help. You can't you can't really say no as a teacher, just to a kid who's saying, like, I really want your help. And if you show that you're putting in the extra effort, then they're going to recommend to their head of science or whatever, say, oh no, Timothy, he's doing really, really well. He's got his head down. His grades keep improving in the tests. If we see that, then we will change people around sets. Okay, so just ask, please, would be my suggestion there. Where are we up to then? Good questions, everyone. Just for motivation, if you haven't started revising this half term like me, start now. You'll never start tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So start this evening. That's why I've done this 5:30, so you can get this motivation and go for it. Thanks. I mean, that's really good advice, Emily. Okay, so let's get going. Let's do this. Funny Old Gaming. What do you do if you've done a ton of revision and just feel burnout 24/7 and just feel like you need to sleep? Well, you probably need to sleep then. And what I would say is that make your revision now a little bit less intense. If you've done lots of past paper questions, be looking over those past paper questions that you've already done and kind of think to yourself, well, how did I solve the problems? What mistakes do I tend to make in these past paper questions? And making sure that I don't make them again. Don't over stress it, okay? Yes, be motivated, but don't feel like you can't take that rest. And actually, if you feel like you need to sleep all the time, well, catch up on some sleep. Enforce yourself, maybe even 10 hours of sleep over the next 3 days, because we say teenagers need like a lot more sleep. We say everyone needs about 8 hours sleep, but teenagers maybe need even 9-10 hours sleep a night. So catch up on your sleep, prepare yourself mentally in that way. I would definitely say that. Okay, thanks for the question. My mechanics teacher said that when forces are balanced on a falling thing, it just stops. Quite embarrassing when I had to put it in terminal velocity. Yeah, well, and that is a common misunderstanding, isn't it, about Newton's first law? Newton's first law is, if there's no resultant force, there's no acceleration. It is not, if there's no resultant force, then nothing will move. And that's what people often make that mistake. And actually, they often ask that question. They give a kind of, here's Newton's laws, but misquoted or misapplied. Yeah, it's embarrassing. This is why I think some teachers don't like to teach physics, and it's because of getting themselves into those situations. What are the two opposite forces when a rocket as it takes off? So the third law pair is the rocket pushes on the gas, and therefore the gas pushes on the rocket. I hope that makes sense. So the point is there's only one force on the rocket, gas on rocket. Your live streams are making this last A-level physics push a lot less painful. Glad to hear it, Jan. That's exactly what they're intended to do, my man. Dev, can you send me paper 4 OCR Physics specimen GCSE, which is not available to students? I can't. If you can't, please say yeah. I can't. If it's not available to students, I can't send it out to students. Okay. It's not that like anyone's gonna sort of prosecute somebody for doing that. I wouldn't expect they would, but it's just not fair, and it's against the terms and conditions. And the exam boards have taken steps, and even if I don't know exactly why they've taken a certain step, it's important that they don't. Can you please make a video on uncertainties for physics? Have done already. So there's a playlist on my channel for basically for practicals. And I did talk about uncertainties. I do talk about uncertainties in quite a few of the videos that I suggest that you watch for. If you watch my last live stream, I talk about them in there, and the suggested videos in that as well. Be very, very useful. How do you revise for section A level physics? No more questions left. So again, I would say, so what I did on my last live feed, which was called something like The Secret to Paper Free, I would look at that and I would take some advice that I give in that live feed. Lots of different things there. Yeah, I asked my teacher when I was in year 7 to move. It does work. Yeah, it's just about letting the teachers know that, hey, I'm not one of the ones that doesn't want to be here. I'm actually keen. I actually really want to do well. You know, that can really help. How do I say done that one? Are your vids AQA? Have got both. Okay, so all my main one is Edexcel for A level. Okay, my main GCSE would be OCR Gateway, but I do cover all things. My bad. You get what you mean. Yeah, sorry, they're talking about bad sets, haven't we? Yeah, we know what you meant. Okay. I actually needed this motivation. Good. Any recommendations how to revise? Go to my 4 things to get an A star or get a grade 9 videos. I do have a whole playlist called like how to revise, and there's loads of things to do there. I low-key gave up yesterday, yeah, but Anisha, you're back now. You want this. You're ready for it. Okay, you can do this. Okay, Chris. I hate how quality teachers like yourself are not available for my other subjects. As you mean on YouTube, yeah. A useful thing to do would be to kind of have a little forum of who thinks, because they're out there, they're just not always getting found. And it took me a long time to get just this small kind of audience that I get, but it's cool. So if you share with other people, one of the things I say, and I hate the comment, which is like, not because it's a bad thing, but like, oh, wow, it's a shame I only found you the night before my exam. So if you guys would share this out, if you would hit the like button, so there's 41 people on here. If I can see 41 likes, that would be really, really useful. And that would just get this video out to more people. So just, you know, turn your phone that way, find the little like button, hit it, turn it back the other way. And then, you know, other people find out, and fewer people will find me the night before the exam. Yeah, what papers are available for Edexcel paper free physics specimen? There should be 2 specimens, and there should be 16, no, yeah, 16, 17, no, just 17 and 18 then. So there should be 4 papers in total that you can do. Oh, and a SAM. So there's 2 specimens, a sample assessment materials, and then 2 past papers basically is what you should be able to find for Edexcel. And for all of them, I think pretty much that's the case. There are 3 kind of ones they wrote before the exams, and then there's 16, and so there's 17 and 18. I would use past paper, if you want to get rid of paper 3, use past paper 6, which was like, it used to be a coursework module for Edexcel. But there is a past paper 6 that was written for like international students that couldn't do the coursework element. I would find them as examples of questions on the practicals. I would also use questions from other exam boards from paper 3, okay, because I think that they're close enough and it's good practice, all the different things they can ask you to do. How low are AQA? Nobody knows. I think the boundaries would be similar to last year. Anyone started revising Astro and realised how long it is and it's Monday? Yeah, Astro's hard, yeah. Like it. What papers? I've done that one. Think. Tips for year 11 going into year 12, A-level chem, bio and geography in the summer, as I don't want to fall behind. How do you mean, sorry? Oh, do you want to know whether you should start working in the summer? Yeah, you should, but only like getting yourself keen, getting yourself excited. what I would recommend. So I've got a book called Prepare for the Challenge of A-Level Physics, which is not so much about here's everything, all the skills you need, although that is in there. It's more about like here's some fun things you can do to get yourself ready for it, get yourself excited about it. And I think that's more important in the summer before year 12, is looking forward to studying at a higher level, because the challenge is massive. Challenge is huge. But if you can do some, my book has 3 experiments you can do at home, and I'm going to release it again this summer, because I only released a kind of preview copy last year, with hopefully 6 experiments you can try at home over the summer. So look out for that if you're going to go into physics. All right, I'm going to finish now, everybody. There's a couple more things. Do you know any biology YouTube accounts like the one you're currently providing? So Primrose Kitten is the best for the other sciences, I think. Hey Science Shorts does a great video on this. Yes, he does. That's the uncertainties bits. Definitely Science Shorts video. And so I actually watched it the other day, just because I was interested to see how he explained it. It's actually really good. Will you do the important grade 9 bits for paper 2 GCSE like I did for paper 1? Yep, I certainly will. So I'll be back the night before. Thank you. I can't. Can you do it in like the half term rather than the day before? Good question, dear. I'll see. I'll try my best. I might do a hardest bits in paper 2, but I do have hardest questions in GCSE, which I definitely recommend. You might just have to skip bits that maybe refer to paper 1. Where can you find the sandpapers? The same place as all the other ones are on the kind of Edexcel website. They're all organised there. I think they will be in the, rather than be in the exam materials section, they might be in the course materials section, because they are like, they're one document. They were written alongside the specification, so they're written before everything, sample assessment materials. Grade boundary is similar to last year, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, Old International is Unit 3 and Unit 6. Yeah, exactly. Top man, Yellow Gamer, thank you very much. Thanks, Solomon, as well. Thank you, Smart Mini Boy. And thank you to you all for watching. Okay, I hope that's helped with your motivation. Remember, you want this, and the reasons you want this aren't because you've been told you want it, because you want to feel like when you open that exam paper, that grade, that envelope with your grades in it, you want to feel like you got the first grade, which is just your best grade because you knew you put your best into it and you didn't stop in half term. You kept on going. Okay, later this week on Friday, I'll be back with Dr. Lemon's tip, and the night before, paper 3, I'll be back. And then, it's my exam marking after that. So I start actually marking for one of the exam boards. So I'm probably going to do a little bit less live streaming, but I will do some more GCSE in preparation for paper 2. So if you're ready for that, then definitely stay tuned. Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it, Andrew, but I enjoy it as well. Okay, yeah. Hey, it's it's nice. It's not really like I'm being a teacher. This is it. Maxwell, look, there's not really going to be a possibility, is it? The one main thing, we can't really talk much about how papers are marked, but what I can say to you is that the way exam papers are marked in this country is massively fair. I cannot. I'm amazed by the way that it's done to ensure that everybody is treated incredibly fairly. It's impressive.